Well, folks, the Bucs are bringing in reinforcements for their absolutely decimated offensive line. Let's talk about it. Shout out to Sleeper, by the way. More on them a little bit later on in this video. So, per Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times, the Bucs are expected to sign center/guard Dan Feeney off the Bills' practice squad Thursday. Substantial starting experience in the league. In 8 years, he started 65 of his 120 games played. Quick note as well, I do want to say, is you do take a look here at Greg Auman's tweet where more potential offensive line help. Bucs will have a workout Thursday, and veteran guard Sua Opeta, one of their final cuts last month, will be among those in attendance. So again, the Bucs looking for outside options here versus their in-house candidates. I talked about the Bucs having 4 offensive linemen on the practice squad right now. Luke Haggard is on there. Lorenz Metz is on there. Mike Jordan's on there, but we already know how good he is. Tyler McClellan is on there as well. You have a lot of different options. Ben Scott is the 4th one. Apologies. You have a lot of in-house options along that offensive line. The Bucs are just skipping all of that and saying we need outside veteran help. Point blank, period. That's why they signed Dan Feeney. That's why they're having this assumedly veteran workout on Thursday. May bring back guard Sua Opeta as well. But let's go ahead and dive in deeper to Dan Feeney. What are the Buccaneers getting? Well, as Mr. Rick Stroud said, you see here 65 total games started in Dan Feeney's career, 120 total games played. He's got 8 years in the league. He is for sure a veteran. He is 31 years old, formerly a 3rd-round draft pick of the Los Angeles Chargers. He has played for teams such as, let's go ahead and see if we can get down here, the Los Angeles Chargers, the New York Jets, the Chicago Bears, and the Minnesota Vikings. So hey, this Sunday is a revenge game for Dan Feeney. Isn't that fun, guys? We all expected this, I'm sure. But Feeney is started a lot of stuff in the NFL before. He has started at left guard, center, offensive line, center, tight end. That's weird. There's no way Dan Feeney was a tight end. But we take a look at his overall snaps here in the advanced Pro Football Focus numbers. You take a look, 2017, his first year, played a lot of left guard. In his second year, 2018, was a starting left guard in the league. Then 2019, played a bit of center, played mostly left guard. 2020, played exclusively center. 2021, he developed more into a backup role, played left guard, center, and a little bit of inside tight end. In 2022, played majority right guard. 2023, played majority center. He was most recently on the Buffalo Bills practice squad, by the way, as we had talked about here per the Rick Stroud tweet. But whenever we take a look at the overall numbers of Dan Feeney, it is a veteran journeyman type of signing, very similar to like Justin School, very similar to Charlie Heck. Just these are not grades that are going to exactly wow anybody by any stretch of the imagination, but this is a guy who has played 4,000 plus snaps in the NFL per this number right down here. 4,000 plus snaps in the NFL. Again, started 65 games in the NFL. The Bucs are, I don't want to use the word doomsday, but they are in a situation, let's say, where they need as many guys as possible to contribute right away. Real quick, guys, before we dive deeper into this, I do want to say shout out to the sponsor of this channel. It is Sleeper. If you guys do use the code MrBucs, you will get a $100 deposit match up to $100. Again, that is when you use the code MrBucs. Guys, download the #1 sports app today and enjoy sports the way it was meant to be. That's together. And as I said in my last video, speaking of together, the Bucs have got to get together and still figure this out, because you're in a situation now where, look, you brought in Dan Feeney, and that's awesome. In fact, if you guys remember, it was like whenever roster cut downs happen and things along those lines, Dan Feeney was actually originally on my list of offensive linemen I wanted the Bucs to be interested in. He was the first offensive lineman I put on here. So how about that? I can now change this to green. I can change it to the Buccaneers because he's on the Buccaneers roster now. It's awesome. Welcome, Dan Feeney. My board continues to grow more and more every day. Now, there are still a few different offensive linemen that the Buccaneers can bring in to possibly help out. Cole Strange is on the Dolphins practice squad. He's a guy that has center guard hybrid versatility. Remember Brandon Walton with the Panthers? He's another guy who could possibly be brought in to help out as well. Nick Leverett is still on the Cardinals practice squad. You do have Raekwon O'Neal and Sua Opeta, both veteran guys who are currently free agents right now after the Buccaneers roster cuts that they made. They're still available. I wonder if both those guys could be brought in. I think if Raekwon O'Neal was waived with an injury designation, he would not be able to sign yet, but Sua Opeta certainly could, so maybe you bring back him. Jake Majors is currently on the Eagles practice squad. You could look to bring back him. Isaiah Wynn, I don't necessarily know if Isaiah Wynn has any tackle or guard versatility. In fact, I'm very curious about that. Could we see Isaiah Wynn in a Tampa Bay Buccaneers uniform? Well, let's see. He has started a lot of games at the NFL level. Does he have any left guard experience? Not necessarily. He's got a lot of starting left tackle experience, did play right guard in 24, left guard in 23, so maybe he is going to be there at that veteran workout there. You know, they may just end up signing an undrafted guy from some team as well, but maybe Isaiah Wynn is going to be a guy that is invited to that workout. Really, guys, I don't know any other people who could be brought in besides some of those names that I mentioned that are on my sheet, as well as some of the guys that, you know, are still kind of floating around on practice squads and things like that, because again, you cannot work out players on other teams' practice squads. That's not a thing, right? Obviously, you can't do that. So I am very curious to see who in the world is still available along the offensive line here at the NFL level. Let's go ahead and check this out. Go to 2025. We're just doing this off the cuff, baby. We are just doing this off the cuff. Okay, so let's take a look here. So Brandon Scherff, I'm like 99.9% sure he's retired. Shaq Mason, we don't want that situation. He's got some legal troubles going on right now. Jedrick Wills is taking the year off. John Feliciano, I think he's actually retired too. I'm not sure. Cody Whitehair could be an interesting name. He's a center guard hybrid as well in terms of interior offensive lineman that could possibly help out. Maybe Nick Harris. Didn't Nick Harris used to be a starter? I'm pretty sure Nick Harris used to be a starter. Let me see if we can dive into that a little bit. Yeah, center from Washington, former 5th round pick. Wasn't he someone that you know, had a handful of games under his belt? He had some center and right guard action, so not necessarily. I mean, if you're looking for a right guard, that's where Cody Mock is, so maybe you could get some help there. Again, Cody Whitehair would be another maybe interesting name. A lot of just older guys here, right? A lot of older guys here on this list. I don't really know who else they're going to bring in for that workout. A couple of names that jump off the page to me. I think that we could see maybe an Isaiah Wynn at the workout. Obviously, Sua Opeta is going to be at that workout, so that's just the fact of the matter. Maybe Cody Whitehair is there. Again, you're looking for veterans that can step into starting roles right away. Dan Feeney, 31 years old, that's what he's being brought in to do, right? I don't know if he's going to start right away. Who knows what the Buccaneers are going to do along that offensive line. We'll see, but yeah, man. Just a wild, wild situation. So what are your guys' thoughts and opinions about this? Let me know. I'm probably going to have to make another video talking about another signing tomorrow based off of that veteran-y workout. If there's any other guys that you think the Buccaneers should bring in, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. As always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.